compressing into the side of the body. So I'm going to try this at first. I'm going to place the arm overhead because that opens up the ribs. So I'm just going to do, here's the inferior angle of the scapula. Just going to start right here with a little compression. And then just compress right into the side of the body. And then when you come, you're going to come right into the iliac crest. So I'm going to take the pads of my thumbs and I'm just going to sink right into the top of the iliac crest. Pressure's okay? It's a little sensitive at all?
Mm-hmm, it is.
So just right onto the top. Because it helps relieve the musculature here. You had mentioned that you don't have a lot of space there. So by lifting the arm up, it lifts the ribs up, so it creates a little bit more space here. So you feel for the floating rib, the 12th rib, and the iliac crest, and then you're going to take your thumbs and sink into the musculature in there, this way. So you're working the soft tissue just below the 12th rib and just above the iliac crest. It's okay, Jessica? So you're just sinking straight down. So you're going to come up against the lateral border of it. Okay. Put the arm down. And then we're going to come and start addressing the hip. Now, here's the iliac crest, and immediately below the iliac crest, or distal to the iliac crest, is the upper fibers of gluteus medius. And these are the ones that are pretty much tight all the time, again, from us standing upright. So if you feel for the iliac crest, you want to address this tissue with your forearm. And it goes right in there, and you just lean right in there. The pressure's okay. It can be pretty sensitive on some people. I'll move towards me just a little bit. Okay. So now I'm going to come up on the table, and I'm going to feel for a couple bony landmarks, the greater trochanter of the femur and the lateral border of the sacrum. So when you have those two, you know all this crescent moon here, this is all soft tissue, and this is all gluteal muscles. So this is what you want to focus on. Right, so here's the greater trochanter of the femur, and here's the lateral border of the sacrum. This is all soft tissue here. So I'm going to do palmar compression to loosen. So I'm just going to sink in. Just to do some loosening. Just compressing it right into that soft tissue. And then I can come in with the forearm. Just sink in. You can feel yourself go right into the soft tissue. Just leaning in, letting yourself sink in. As you remember, you know you have all the gluteals here, but then below that you have the deep lateral rotators. And they come off the greater, look at all that smoke from the incense just sort of sitting there. See?
Yeah, you can see that it's like thin layer right here.
I don't get distracted.
I just
So-
didn't want to disturb it.
So the lateral rotators come off of the greater trochanter like a spoke, spokes of the wheel, so like this being the hub. So you want to work around, so you sink in. Yeah.
Sore.
Right? Pressure's okay? So the knee is coming right in between these two here. Very nice, thick. Okay. So this happens a lot. See, this slipping. So this is what we do. Lock it in. So this way you can add compression here. It's not going anywhere because it's locked in. And then you want to continue right down this line. Bless you.
Busy.
Right into the iliotibial band. So we do compression. You could also use your forearm. And if you're shorter and you have a little trouble with that, then you can come around this here way, because this actually makes a lot more sense, right? You can use your body a lot easier and compress in this way. And you could use the palm of your hand or easy the forearm. It's a thick muscle. You want to be able to sink in with a bigger area. And then as you come down the lower leg, if you remember from your anatomy, so here's the tibia, come please, and here's the tibial ridge. And if you come just lateral of that, this is the tibialis anterior. And if you go lateral of that, it's the peroneals, and that's where you're focusing on. So here's the tibial ridge, this is the tibialis anterior, and then just lateral of that is the peroneals, and that's what you want to compress. So you're compressing right into the peroneals. Now with the table, you have the advantage of applying pressure in different ways. Palm, flat of fist. Pressure's okay? Nice sustained pressure. You give it a nice pressure, you get out of gravity. Somewhat. Sustained pressure. The view is nice up here. Very nice. And it's just something, you know, think like what is sustained pressure, what? What's easy? How can I maintain pressure? How can I utilize my body weight? And this is one of them. And then you take it down, and then we're going to do an acupressure point. It's called gallbladder 40, and it's the point that regulates the amount of energy in the meridian. And again, this meridian starts way up here, gallbladder, right in the outer canthus of the eye. And then it zigzags, right? When we were doing compression earlier on, it goes right into the top of the shoulder. It goes right in front of the shoulder. It comes right through the side and into the hip. It comes through the iliotibial band. It goes through the peroneals, and it goes right into this point. And this point is this. If you look at the lateral malleolus, the ankle here, and if you come in front and right at the bottom, you'll feel a little indentation. Feel on yourselves if you can, please. And you press towards the bone. You let me know if that's a little achy.
Yeah, I did.
So that's the SUBO for gallbladder meridian. So try that on yourself if you haven't found it. You should feel a dull ache. So here's the lateral malleolus. It's in the front and at the bottom. There's an indentation. And you just press in towards the bone, and they should feel a nice dull ache. So that not only helps regulate the energy in the gallbladder channel, but also it helps with ankle pain and strain, because it's just like any other release point in the general area where it's located. It'll help bring balance into that area. And then the meridian continues, and you just press right into the top of the foot and right out the fourth toe. Okay? So all that compression down here. And then we're going to work up this way. So we're going to start with compression at the foot and compress up the leg. Now, one thing when you're looking and you're going to apply pressure, you want to make sure that their body is in a position where it receives pressure good. And you'll notice that in Jessica's case, her heel right here is off the ground a little bit, so that means that she's rotated forward a little bit more than I want her to. So I'm going to move her back And see how that came up a little bit. So we're going to start with compressions. So I'm just going to compress. And then when you get to the knee and above, this is a really nice way to work the adductors. Now, you can compress from here. You can compress with the knee. We're going to try all three of these. Pressure's okay? You can compress with the foot. You can compress like this. Now, in Thai massage, they do this, they sit on you, and they call it blood stop. Now, it doesn't really necessarily stop the blood, but because of the pressure and the consistent pressure, it slows the blood down. So after a while, you get some backup. It's like kinking a hose, basically. And the premise is that when you release the pressure, since there's built up pressure here, when you get off, it shoots and it cleans the channel out. It helps remove the stagnation in the channel. And you're sitting for a little bit, and you feel the pulse, and then the pulse is going to start slowing down a little bit. And then after a little bit, you get up, and then they should feel the people you've just sat on. Not only relief that you've gotten up, but also that they should feel like a little warm tingling feeling that, and that's like the rush of the blood coming back into the area that didn't have a lot of it in the beginning. So it takes a little time. But it's interesting, you know, it's like meditation in a way. It's like if you try to be still physically, you know, you should take the time to internally try to be still. So you're not thinking about this or that, you're just being there. And when you're being there, you have more connection to the person. Just get off. Okay, so we'll try those three things. But then we're going to end with a stretch. So y'all come over here. So we're going to end with a stretch here. This is a psoas stretch. Okay, psoas muy importante, yes? The only muscle that connects the upper and lower part of the body. Because it comes down and attaches to the lesser trochanter of the femur, it affects our gait quite a bit. All right? So a nice stretch is this. Excuse me. The leg. I'm going to sit right up against them and then just simply rotate. Feel, Jessica? Okay. Pretty powerful, pretty easy. Right? Stretch for the psoas. So I want you to look at that again. We're going to break it down. Here. Okay, we're going to first start by taking the foot and bringing it back, and then we're going to sit down. And our sacrum is basically right up against their sacrum. We cup here, and we simply rotate. Okay there? Mm-hmm. Easy. Pretty powerful stretch. And like anything, you have to really take it with every step because you want to make sure that you take up the slack, but when you feel the resistance, you stop there. Okay. Now, if for some reason this is too much, you know, you can simply put your hand here and lean back this way. Or again, intention doesn't change, but how you choose to do it does. And those are by the person, what they can or can't do, what the therapist can or can't do. Because you want to choose something that's that's good for both parties. Is it okay? Okay. Yeah. And then you're going to just come right out of that. Okay?